Ready? One, two, three, go.
Hello everyone. We are going to start off with our interview experience session right over here with Pradumna. Before that, please let us know in the comment section if we are clearly audible and visible to all of you. And then we are going to start off in just a minute. Please drop a yes or a thumbs up in the comment section if we are clearly audible and visible. Okay, I think we can begin with the session now. All right. So, hello everyone. So, this is me, Janvi, and I am back with another interview experience with Pradumna, and he's going to interview us for TCS Ninja Profile for the Assistant System Engineer trainee role. So, welcome, Pradumna. Can you please introduce yourself for the audience?
Hello everyone, I'm Pradumna Sinha. I'm from Kolkata and I study in University of Engineering and Management, Kolkata. And I gave my NQT in August and I've just got my offer letter a few weeks ago.
All right. So, congratulations, Pradumna, for being placed in TCS. So a lot of people are over here trying to get into TCS, trying to work hard to get into TCS, and like it's only a few get into it, right? So it's a very big journey from starting to the from the placement till getting the offer letter. So we are going to discuss that entire journey with the audience over here. So let's start off with the first question. Was it an off-campus or an on-campus drive for you?
It was an off-campus drive.
It was an off-campus NQT drive, right? So it was a recent August drive.
Yes, August.
Okay, so how did you start preparing for it, and what were the steps that you took in order to, prepare yourself for the first step of NQT?
Initially, I went for the syllabus and the structure of the exam. So I visited many sites and I got a little confused. But then I lastly I went to Prep and Stuff. That there I got a little clarity about it, and thus I like studied the syllabus and prepared a study plan for me. And with I have the Prime subscription too of Prep and Stuff. So from that I prepared my aptitude. Like the videos for aptitude are very like they explain the concepts very well, and there are previous years TCS NQT questions also, which
Question.
I practiced a lot, and that did help me in the exams. And then there are top 100 codes, which
Yes.
also did help me, and that's how I prepared. And during the last 2 weeks, mostly I prepared the last year's questions.
All right. So this is coming directly from Pradyumna, who has been placed in TCS. That you don't have to start off like you have a lot of time. So it's good that you start off before at least 15 days or a month before the examination, right? So is it ideal to start preparing, or like do you think that it's enough if you prepare for a week or two and you can crack the exam?
The most challenging thing I faced, which like later on I realized ki the time management should be very critical, because you might think that it's a 1 hour or a 45 minutes exam, but it just passes in a blink, and the time management is very crucial. Because I too missed two questions is because of time
Yeah.
management, because I put more time in one question. So that comes with practicing the previous year questions and maintaining a discipline of time management.
Yeah, definitely. Time management is very important. Along with preparing for the ones, when you fall weak, you need to prepare those first, right?
Yes.
I hope that should be the strategy for the people, right, for the students. So, like everyone, it's coming from Pradyumna himself that he has prepared from Pevenstar Prime. So, if you also want to prepare, also, we have a complete curated course for teachers if you've gone through that as well, right?
Yes.
So, like he told that top 100 course, if you look for top 100 course and if you want to prepare for the coding section, you can do from the top 100 course itself. So there's a lot of things that we provide you. Also, you can get it from other places as well, but we try to give you the best TCS course. I hope you got that through and you practice from there as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start off with the examination. So after registering for NQT, when did you get the mail that you have to sit for the exams and like how did you go about it?
I got the mail for the exam around just 2 days ago. That like few days later, I had my exam and the test center and the timing, and
Okay.
we just went there 1 hour ago, and we were allowed in the hall like 30 minutes before, and just when we started the exam and when we ended it, we were allowed to exit, and it was
Okay.
a CBT based exam.
Okay. So you had an in-center exam,
Yeah, I opted
right?
for center exam.
Yeah. So there is always a confusion for NQT that whether in-center or whether you should take a remote one. So you went for in-center, right?
Yeah.
So did you have any confusion about the hall tickets? Because there are a lot of times when, students come and ask questions to us whether you're not getting the hall tickets or whether when will you get the hall tickets. So did you have any issue regarding that?
No, I got it in the mail itself, the admit card or hall ticket, anything.
Yeah.
And I chose in center over remote because I thought ki if I have a network issue or any other issue, I might find
Yeah.
difficulty. So in center is a safe option.
Yeah, that's most of the times it might happen that you lose the connection and your test is completely cancelled. And yeah, so that's a good choice to go for the in-center examination. All right, so let's start off with the written round. So you had only two rounds. What were the rounds that you had to go
The
through?
first round was NQT, and after
Hmm.
clearing the NQT, I was called for an interview.
Hmm.
And after clearing the interview, I got the offer letter a few days
Correct.
later.
So there were only two main rounds. So we're going to discuss them in a little detail. So let's start off with the first round. So first was the aptitude round.
Yes, there were two sections,
Hmm.
foundational and advanced. So, as far
Hmm.
as I remember, the foundational section was mainly for the ninja profile, and the advanced aptitude and the coding section was in advanced. That
Hmm.
was for the digital profile, but you can appear for both. And
Okay.
yeah, I don't really remember the exact question number, but for in the advanced section, there were 10 aptitude questions and I guess
Hmm.
two coding questions, and you can go like one question until unless you clear the first coding question, you cannot go to the other coding question.
Okay, so you cannot go like navigate
You
through
cannot
in the
switch. Mm.
intersection. You cannot navigate. All right, so let's talk about the foundation section one.
Yeah.
Right, so let's begin with the you must have quants, logical, verbal. That would
Yeah,
have been
it's the
the
mostly
division.
logical and verbal questions.
Hmm. Okay, so what do you think that there were any important topics that you think might repeat the number of questions in a particular section?
Time like questions on times, clocks were there, and
Okay.
some questions were there on area
Hmm.
as well as on speed, like train
Okay.
speed and car speed.
Hmm.
These topics were mostly covered, and there
So
were
these
few
were
questions from
common quants.
trigonometry as well.
Okay, trigonometry. Are you talking?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
geometry, trigonometry. There were few
Hmm.
questions as well from them.
From there as well. Okay, so anyone and everyone who is listening to this, please make sure that if you are sitting for TCS, make sure that you put a little more focus on these topics, whichever are being mentioned by Pradyumna. All right, moving towards the next section might be logical, I guess.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
logical was comparatively a little easy, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it has that image based questions. Few image based questions we have
Hmm.
to like odd one out, and
Okay.
this types of like the logic section was comparatively
Basic
easy.
logical
Yeah,
set questions. Okay, and then we move towards the verbal section as usual.
the verbal was a little lengthy. It has
Hmm.
I guess a few comprehensions, so
Mm-hmm.
those were a little lengthy. Otherwise, the comprehension like the verbal section was.
Verbal section. All right, so you had only these three sections in the entire foundation section.
Yeah, foundation section these were there, and then in the advanced section there
So
was
there
same.
was no, sorry to disturb, but there was no technical section or let's say pseudocodes or anything.
No, that was in the advanced section.
Advanced section. So we have only three sections in the foundation now.
Yeah.
Moving towards the advanced section, what were the sections?
It was same as like there was advanced quant,
Mhm.
advanced logical, and advanced verbal. A little, few questions were there, and then two coding questions. That
All
was
right. So you had the same. However, this difficulty would be a little higher, I assume.
yeah. The difficulty was a little higher than that.
Hmm. Okay. So is there any bifurcation that if you are, clearing the foundation section but not the advanced section, are you, suitable for the interview?
I don't know. As far as I have read on Prepinsta itself, we have to perform like if we perform average on both the sections at least, then we get at least a ninja interview call.
Okay. So if you don't clear the advanced, you are not selected for any profile.
No, even like we at least we have to perform average in that to get for a ninja profile. Baki,
Okay.
foundational too, you have to do well.
Foundation you have to do well. Yeah, that's the minimum criteria. Right. So once you're, do you remember the coding section any which way?
Yeah, there were two codes. I don't remember from which like
Okay.
topic were there, but there were two codes and that were not very difficult. The difficulty level was moderate, and second code was a little tougher, but the first
Okay.
was moderate.
Mhm. And do you think that there was any preferred coding language, or you can just switch between the coding languages between the two
No,
questions?
I can switch between any language I want.
Okay, you can switch between any language. All right. So this is a very important, information that you've given, because a lot of times students confuse whether they can choose their preferred language or whether they can switch the languages, which is why, a lot of students fail to answer the coding questions properly because they fear whether I am able to switch the languages or not. So this is again very important information. You can note it down somewhere for the audiences. All right. So this is the complete foundation section plus advanced section, your complete aptitude test, we
Yeah.
can call it, the first round. So
Yes.
after how many days did you receive the mail for the selection?
For the interview, like I didn't get anything in between. For
Mhm.
the interview, I got the mail 2 days ago. Like if
Okay.
today I got it, like the day after is my interview,
Hmm.
and that like it was around a month later. Like I appeared for my interview in September last year.
Okay. So you had the test in August, but you appeared for the interview in September. So that's a quite 1 month of
And
apprehension whether you are selected or not.
yeah,
Right. So did you go through that phase because was it your first interview?
that was my second interview actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I think a lot of pressure has been building up for the entire month, whether you're not, a lot of nail biting and
I have
everything.
information about it. We're just waiting
Yeah.
for the results. Yeah.
Yeah. So we do definitely get a lot of mails and a lot of queries regarding that when TCS will give out the results. So, it's normal for TCS to take at least a month to give you the selection mail.
At 15 days, so it goes with 10 to 15 days. It goes with the NQT itself. So it's
Yeah.
like unless NQT and they don't declare the results.
Yeah. So you have to wait for at least 50 to 20 days to be sure whether you are selected or not. And do you think that, like, in your circle, like, did anyone receive the rejection mails as well?
I don't think so. No one received any rejection mails.
Okay, so it's only the selection mail. If you do not receive it, that means you're rejected.
Yeah,
There's no rejection mail from TCS.
I haven't heard
All
of.
right. Okay, so this was the entire first round, clearing the first one, and the mail has come now. So, what are your next steps? Like, how did you prepare for the interview? And because it was a second interview, I think there must be some pressure on you to, fare good enough in the interview. So, how did you buck up with that?
First of all, I read about the interview experiences, what were the
Hmm.
questions and how it was, and then I went for the short notes, like the topic wise. I just read one and one on Prep and Star topic wise, like for any subject,
Yeah,
and that was it. Like I focused more on the basics than the advanced concepts, and more on the concepts itself, than mugging up everything. And Prep
yeah.
and Star, like it taught it well, like how to know the concepts well. So it
We
helped.
are obliged that we could help you out with it.
That helped me a lot.
Yeah. So I think there's one very important point that you just pointed out, that you did not focus a lot on the advanced, but on the basics, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what we have heard from the students that they, put a lot of effort in practicing the advanced, that they forget the basics.
Yes.
And when they have been put up with the questions, basic questions, they
I
cannot
learned it
obviously
from the
answer.
interview experiences itself that uh,
Hmm.
basic concepts are more important than the
Exactly.
advanced ones.
Exactly. So anyone who is watching this, the audience, I would like to let you know that it's good that you're preparing for the advanced, but also make sure that your basics are, very strong. Because until and unless your basics are strong, you are not going to get the concepts of the advanced section, right? Also, one very important thing that Pradyumna has noted that you know you should make sure that your interview goes in a way, and you're also watching a lot of interview experiences before you sit for the interview. Don't just get up one day and then sit for the interview. You have to prepare yourself for the same, right? Okay, so let's talk about the interview day. How was it and how did it go?
Uh, it was good. Like my time slot time was around 9 or 10 a.m.
Hmm.
I went like I was called for the interview, and there were some basic questions asked. It wasn't very difficult.
Hmm.
First, there was a formal greeting, and they asked my introduction, and then
Okay.
there were some basic questions on OOPS, C, and some DBMS queries,
Hmm.
and then we went for the HR questions, which were
Okay, so you had both technical and the HR
yeah.
interview in just
Yeah.
one go. And what was the time duration for the entire thing?
The entire interview was around 20-25 minutes.
Okay, so it was quite not a very lengthy interview process.
Mhm.
20-25 minutes is quite good enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started off with the technical part.
Yes.
Like some did they ask you questions based on your projects or on your resume?
They asked me what my project was, and to tell a little about it,
Hmm.
and that they didn't go deep into it, my project, and
Okay,
yeah, and then we just moved on from the technical questions. We just moved on from HR to HR
to
questions.
from technical to HR. All right. Do you remember any prominent question from the technical part? Like you said, there were questions from OOPS and SQL. I think you
There
said.
was few questions. Yeah, there were few questions from encapsulation, and
Okay.
like their questions weren't very tough.
Hmm.
Like if you have the basics clear, you will be getting those answers. Like
Hmm.
in fact, I got few questions from the interview experiences common itself, so that
Okay.
did help a little.
All right. Great. And now moving towards the HR part. So, what do you remember? Any question that were asked to you?
The HR questions were pretty normal, like the relocations and stuff.
Hmm.
So it was yeah. They just asked me that yeah, if I'm comfortable with the shifts and all, like the normal HR questions. So
Yeah,
it was
exactly. So these normal HR questions, we would love if you could just answer one of them because a lot of students go wrong with that, right? It may be very easy,
yeah.
right? But they answer it in a very wrong way, which leads to rejection. So like let's talk about relocation. So if you are asked that if you want to relocate, what would have been your answer?
I said like I'm comfortable relocating because
Hmm.
I myself like love traveling as well. So relocating would be a good thing. Then move to a new city, to new challenges, new problems, and new solutions to those problems.
Yeah.
So the HR just smiled a little, and yeah, that was my answer for it.
Yeah, because a lot of students just say that yes, I want to do it, and then they later reject. So there's a lot of problems. So I think that you have to be very clear when you're answering,
Yes,
right? About relocation, about anything related to HR questions. It's very important that you be honest.
honest, and we just need to have a positive mindset. Like
Yeah, exactly.
a smile on the face goes a long way.
That's a very good tip for the students that you have to have a positive mindset. So let's talk about what was going inside your head when you were giving the interview.
That's why I was just I don't know, just the questions were coming, and somehow something all in my mind was going the answer for that questions, and nothing else. Like I was pretty nervous about it.
Hmm.
That was like my mind was completely focused on that interview. Like each
Okay.
each word I can like, okay, she said this. This interview said this.
Yeah. So you were completely concentrated and, completely focused on the interview, what the interviewer is saying. You have registered it in your mind,
Yes.
right? And that's a good way to give an interview so that you're not distracted and you get the answers in a click,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Let's move forward with the. Okay. So once the interview is done, after how many days did you receive the mail?
Offer letter. I got it 3-4 days later. I got it.
Okay, just a moment. Yeah. After 3-4 days, you received the selection mail. So,
Yeah.
what was your feeling? How was your reaction when you see that you have been selected for a company?
I was very happy. First of all,
Yeah.
like I just like got the mail, and in the mail it was written also that my there are fraud jobs and all. So I just logged into my next step portal and checked it there. I'm like, yeah, now I'm sure that I
Double
got.
surety.
Yeah.
Definitely double surety. You have to be double sure because definitely there are a lot of things going on wrong
Yes.
in the world. So double surety is very important, right? So just happiness. That
Yeah.
was it. All right. So this was the entire journey for TCS,
Yes.
right? And do you think that there have been, instances in your entire journey that has taught you something?
Yeah, from my previous interviews, I got some things which I wasn't well prepared, especially in the technical interviews. A little a few concepts I didn't focus much on,
Hmm.
so I prepared that as well for the TCS. That like leave no stone unturned for this interview.
Yeah. So you have worked hard, leaving no stones unturned. All right. So we have a few questions from our audience, Pratimna. I would love if you could answer them. Let's just see. Okay. So first of all, the person asks is Singavarapu Akash. What are the skills required for software development? Can you answer them?
As much I've seen my friends like getting into many big companies, and
Hmm.
they are pretty much good in data structure and algorithm. You have to be good in that for
Yeah.
like getting a big placements, and
Hmm.
like learn one language very nicely.
Okay.
In you should be able to code anything in that language.
In that, yeah.
Other than that, it's all right. Like if you don't know, learn it a bit, that's fine.
Hmm.
Even the interviewer helps at times, but one
Yeah.
language you have to be very fluent in it.
Yeah, so DSAs and one coding language is very, very important. So there's your answer, Akash, that DSAs and like having proficiency in one coding language is very important to get a good placement as a software development. Also, if you're looking for resources, I don't know on what degrees Pradyumna going to agree with me, but we at Prep Insta Prime have a complete course on DSA, and like it's not just in one language, but it's all the
all
language possible.
all the languages, yeah.
Yeah, and then we also have basic to advanced structures for the languages separately. So if you want, you can definitely check that out, and it's going to help you. Also, we have other skill-based, courses as well. So it's going to help you out if you want to go for software development. All right, so let's talk about another question. When will the hire for 2022 batch? You are like the best thing I can say is you can follow our social media accounts like for the 2022 batch, and you're going to get all the hiring updates over there. A lot of companies are into hiring, so you go and follow the social media accounts. The links are in the description. Let's look forward to any more questions. Okay, there's one very interesting question from Vivek. Is it worth to join as fresher for the ninja profile to start my career? Do we get upskilled and work in development? Like, what is
I
your experience?
I don't think so. I am eligible to answer that because I
Okay.
myself haven't joined the company yet, so I don't know about it.
Hmm.
So I guess I'll recommend ki like go through YouTube, search more videos or prep insights. And those who have worked in TCS, those who have joined it earlier as a fresher,
Yeah.
so you might find your answer there.
Yeah.
And the right.
Also, Vivek, I would say that like joining a company as a fresher is good. You are definitely going to learn a lot of things,
Yeah,
even though it's not everything, but
this is
something you're going to learn. Yeah, and related to upskilling is something that depends on you, right? It's not on the company, but on you on how much you can work for yourself and upskill yourself. I hope Pradyumna is going to agree with the same.
sure.
Okay. Need digital interview experience. We will soon get someone from digital as well, but Ninja is our focus right now. Um, I was eligible for interview but didn't get the interview mail. So have you or your friends like you know encountered such a situation
From my
where
college, as far as I know, no one has encountered such a problem.
okay, so I think Adi you will have to contact the TPO or TCS for that. Okay, all processes done with an interview. How much time it will take to get the results? Do you have any idea?
After the interview,
Yeah.
2 to 3 days. It took me like 2 to 3 days to like receive the
Okay.
offer letter. So,
Okay, so it took him 2 to 3 days. So I hope you have your answer there. Mm. I don't, guys, we would need a lot more, questions related to the exam and the course that Pradyumna is talking about, not just general questions. Okay, this is a very good thing that you can answer for people. how to prepare for the interview, like how to clear the exam. So what were the steps that you think that are very important to clear an interview?
To clear an interview, you need to have the tech skills, you need to have the basic concept knowledge, that goes without saying. But
Hmm.
with that, you do need to have some soft skills as well, which is very important for an interview, because you are just talking to a person, like you're not giving an exam on a machine. so
Yeah,
so you have to be like proficient in your technical knowledge as well as in the soft skills. You have to present yourself in a good way.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. So there is your answer, that you have to have good technical skills. But apart from that, that soft skills are also important because you are not interacting with the machine, um, but with a person, right? So there is your answer. In order to crack an interview, have your skills in place, right? Prepare for the interview. Don't just wake up one day and sit for the interview. Prepare for it, give it some time, and you are going to crack it. Another very good question: how to improve coding skills? Any tips
See,
for that?
like this worked for me, being very consistent. Like do like one code or two codes per day, but like anyhow fix a time and just do it. Like no matter what you do the whole day, that coding part is consistent,
Hmm.
and you just don't like stick to courses and just like learn. You need to practice it as well. So
Hmm.
this should
Exactly.
go hand in hand. The learning and the
Yeah.
practice should go hand in hand. That will teach you a lot, and make notes with it in a copy and
Very,
start
very well
working.
said, Pradyumna. That just learning is not important, guys. Learning is not important. You have to practice. Until and unless you are giving your personal efforts, nothing is going to work
Yeah.
out, right? So you have to practice. So this is all coming from the pro himself. So something that all of you should look forward to and try to adapt as well. All right. So apart from these questions, I would also like to ask you, Pradyumna, like, can you give our audience, let's say, three major tips that can help them to crack a particular selection, not just TCS but any company selection?
Be it any exam, you have to be consistent with your preparation, and
Hmm.
you need to have a positive mindset,
Hmm.
and or just like prepare it for well. Like look for experiences, look for the previous year questions, look what like how the previous and like whoever went for the interview, how they gave the interview, what mistakes they did. You just
Hmm.
learn from their mistakes and just don't repeat it in your case.
Yeah. So I think that is something that comes from your personal experience,
Yeah.
that much of knowledge and that much of a proficiency in saying that it
Yeah.
comes from your personal experience, right? So those are your important points. Have a positive mindset, do your research, and be consistent,
Yes.
right? If you're doing all three of this, it's easy. Like, it wouldn't be easy, but it would be worth cracking any selection journey, not just TCS but any company, right? So and you stand by it completely. I can
Yes.
see that,
And
right?
even if you get rejected, keep a positive mindset, because after all, you have learned something in the process. So
Yeah.
maybe the company rejected you, but you're not losing the knowledge. That will help you further.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's a very nice positive influence for all of the audience, that you have to have a positive mindset and don't lose faith. You are anyway learning something.
Yeah.
You're growing in the journey. So I think you have definitely given a lot of positive vibes in this particular interview experience. I think the students will not go upset and they will have something to hold on to from this interview experience. So I think that is all. Those are all the questions that we have right now. So yes, let me just check if I. Okay, there's another good question. How to manage curriculum and placement preparation simultaneously? So, how did you do that?
Uh, to be very honest, I think it's in every college. Like we being an engineer, we study like the night before the exam, and that's a
Yeah,
true fact. So
yeah.
like even in final year, no college gives much too much pressure on curriculum as far as I know. So
Hmm.
and the subjects aren't very tough in fourth year also, so you can just keep it for the like later on. And like getting a job, I guess, is more important than getting the marks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You completely sound like a topper, because when you said that the subjects are not very difficult, I don't think a lot of students stand by that the subjects are not difficult in the last year, right? I
I
think a
myself
lot of
prepared it
students.
in like 2 days. Like I have my exam on Friday and I'm starting
Yeah.
on Wednesday. That was my scene.
So that's the basic engineering. I
That's,
think
that's something engineering teaches you.
behavior, exactly. So yeah, but that is how your question has been answered. That keep practicing, keep learning, just handle side by side, and try to prepare for the curriculum just 2 days before, but try to prepare for the selection at least 1 month before the
Yeah.
selection. So marks are not important, but placement is important. So that comes from Pradumna himself. Um, I think we have come towards the end of all the questions. Um, all of the other questions, if you have any other query, please make sure that you are asking below. Our moderators are going to answer you for that. Also, thank you so much, Pradumna. We have come towards the end of the interview experience, and it has been a pleasure for us to interview you and get to know your entire placement journey. Right. So, congratulations on being placed, and we're obliged that as Prepinsta, on part of Prepinsta, I'm going to be obliged that we could help you out in your placement journey, and we could be a part of it.
Yeah, it helped a lot. Like
Yeah, thank
especially
you
the
so
client
much.
interaction helped a lot.
Yeah, so we have tried to build something that is going to help a lot of students in just one place. So if it has it has helped you, we are very, very happy. At least our mission is successful. So thank you so much, Pradumna. I think we are going to wrap up with the live right now. Yeah. So that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching this live interview. We're going to come up with another interview experience very, very soon. Until then, thank you so much, Pradumna. You
Thank
can,
you.
yeah, we're going to end the live here.